Hey everybody. First thing, great, absolutely brilliant to have a win. Exactly what you needed after Middlesbrough. Great to have a result, especially a resounding result like we got against Everton. But my gut instinct is let's not get too overexcited about it. We've been here before. It's been up and down. We know how inconsistent the team is. We know all the problems that we've been having. So whilst it's great to celebrate in the moment and love the fact that we absolutely smashed Everton, we have to remember that this is Everton and they are in an absolutely terrible, terrible situation where they are in free fall, quite frankly, and and they're playing really poorly. So great result, great to see it, cheer along, get excited and everything else. But now the game's settled down and we've had a chance to kind of reflect and think about it. It's as well to kind of go, well, you know what, let's not get too excited. It is just 3 points. And now it all really relies on what happens against United in the next game, right? Because we can only take it game by game. The mob up the road keep winning. So that's not helpful. They've now got a game in hand over us. They've got 3 points ahead of us. They've still got to play us. They've still got to play a few other teams that are, at that kind of a higher level. So with a bit of luck, they might slip up. All we can do is keep winning our games, right? But in my last video, I said we've got nothing to play for, and I still stand by that. There's nothing really to play for. I'm not convinced that we would get to top four. It would take an awful lot of other teams to slip up. It would take a really good run for us to keep going. And I'm not sure that given the consistency of how we play, that's really going to happen. But I don't want to be, Mr. Negative all the time. That's not what I'm about. I support Tottenham. I love the club, and I want the best. And if we still have an opportunity to get top four, whilst it's still mathematically possible, then you can't give up on it, right? But, and to me, top four isn't a trophy. You go into the Champions League, are you going to win it? And all these people that say, oh, yeah, but you can attract better players and all that. Well, we've been in the Champions League. We didn't attract better players. So, I'll believe it when I see it. I'm a pragmatic person. That's how I kind of work it out. So kind of just thinking about the game itself, what was the big differences? So for me, and I've made some notes so that I didn't kind of miss anything from my own time. So for me, the one of the big talking points was Bentancur coming back into the side. The lad is so good, both feet, very positive, got a little bit of aggression in him, keen to get forward and stuff. And just by the fact that his presence there, in his, I don't know, his calmness on the ball, I guess, for me, makes Højbjerg seem a lot more stable and a lot more thoughtful about what he's going to do. He's not just smashing the ball forward. He's not giving the ball away so much, which is what he was doing, alongside Winks, for instance, who is, appears to be a lot more rushed on the ball, backward, sideways passing, putting people under pressure, losing the ball in vital areas, which I don't think Bentancur does. Certainly not from what I've seen, and certainly not as bad as perhaps Winks was. Next thing I was going to call out is, who's this number 2? Where did he come from? Unbelievably, Doherty has had an awful time at Tottenham, an absolutely awful time at Tottenham. We call him out. The right hand side has been a real problem. Since we lost Walker. It's never really been settled. I'm going to sneeze now. Excuse me. Excuse me. So it's never really been settled, and we've been crying out for someone on that right hand side. and Doherty's not really been the man. He's struggled. But to be fair, and you've got to give credit when credit is due, even if it's only going to be this game. He had a really good game. A couple of blinding assists. Really good assists. Some great passing. Which is something we haven't seen from him. So to see him do that, was really pleasing, and I hope that can be a kick on for him. It may not be, but if it is, great. That gives us something. Kulusevski, Jesus Christ. Again, 21-year-old kid, good with both feet, can go outside, can come inside. Not afraid to have a shot. Has really settled in, and after his first sort of 20 minutes, where everyone was saying what a load of rubbish, it was really good to see him have yet another really good game. So for me, I was really really pleased to see him, and I think him and Bentancur have settled in really really well. And it's great to have players that are coming into the squad that are going into the first team and improving the first team, because that's what we've been crying out for. For me, though, a lot of the problems stem from Everton and their the fact that they tended to stay off us, give us space, give us the opportunity, and that played into our hands. We were able to hit them on a break. We were able to string some really nice passing together. I mean, if you look back and watch the highlights of it leading up to the goals, there was some really good interplay in there, which is fantastic to see. And it just beggars the belief that we can't do that more consistently. But when teams set off you and give you that opportunity, then we can be really good on the ball. I think the thing that really helps is the early goal. We've said it time and time again. Get that early goal. That team's then got to attack. They're going to be thinking about it from the other perspective. And then if we can get into that rhythm and get that passing going, then eventually we can get the next goal and kill the game off. Although for me personally, I always think we need 3 or 4 before I feel very safe. Son for me again, still really poor. Up until he scored his goal, he didn't really seem at the races, and I'm a little bit concerned about that. Maybe he's suffering from a little bit of burnout, I don't know. But great to see when he came off that Steven Bergwijn came off, was really positive, really keen to fill that role, and had a couple of good opportunities that with a little bit more luck he could have put away. So I'm confident that if Son can have a little bit of a break here and there, then with Bergwijn or Son Lucas coming in, you've got a couple of options in there that will give you that bit of support. I mean, I don't want Son out of the team, obviously, because he's pivotal for us, but I think he is going through a bit of a difficult time at the moment. I don't think I can go without saying how brilliant Kane was again. Whether he's dropping deep, whether he's going long or whatever, the guy just pulls the strings, and he was fantastic. He was fantastic again, and it's such a shame that he couldn't do that against Middlesbrough. And I think with the Middlesbrough game, maybe he was a bit tired, maybe he felt under pressure. You've got the Middlesbrough players were all over him, and he did get wound up in that game. So maybe it was just a little bit of frustration, and that stopped him really, producing his best. But Kane, unplayable. He is fantastic. The way his first goal where he broke away, just onside from one angle, looked pretty well onside from another. But either way, the goal was given. But as soon as he was on his way, you just knew, was he going to go across him? Of course he wasn't. He was going to beat him at his near post and made Pickford look a bit of a div, really. So absolutely phenomenal. And his second goal, from the ball from Doherty was, sublime. I mean, he just, first time. I mean, that's not easy, is it? Let's be honest. But again, his range of passing is fantastic. So now he's on 176 goals. He's moved one ahead of Terry Henry. Okay, I think whilst Twitter is full of bitter, sad Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal fans all going, "Oh yeah, but you ain't got a trophy." Um, the fact is, what you got to look at is Terry Henry had a team of invincibles around him. He had players like Robert Perez and Dennis Bergkamp and players like that. Kane's had to play with some right dross, to actually manage his feet. So at the end of the day, he might not have a trophy, but that doesn't mean that he hasn't got class and he doesn't deserve some recognition for what he's achieved from a personal point of view. So for me, I think get off the guy's back. He was deadly, and I think he deserves all the credit that he gets. Absolutely, absolutely, and I just hope that Tottenham can convince him to actually stay and not leave us at the end of this season. I think that may well be pivotal around what's happening with Conte. But yeah, so overall, a really good result, really good game from a Tottenham fan's point of view. It was good to see us get a decent win at a decent level. But being Mr. Killjoy, you've got to remember this is Everton. They are in free fall. They're being managed by Frank Lampard, who's very inexperienced at being a manager. No disrespect to the guy, but I'm not sure he's really ready for the Premier League level. At this stage, he's going to struggle. He's never been in this position. He's always been at the top somewhere. So to be in this position is new for him. So we'll see how that pans out for him. But let's be fair. West Ham are now looking over their shoulder at what's happening. Man United will be thinking we need a result against Tottenham on Saturday. But absolutely, we need to get that result. If we're gonna climb that ladder, we need to leapfrog the spammers. We need to get ahead of Man United, put them in a distance, and put that pressure on Arsenal leading up to the North London derby, whenever that might be. So, a good result. You've got to be happy. You've got to celebrate that. Take the wins when you can get them. But you've got to now go on and get another result. So, feet firmly on the ground. Let's see where it takes us. Keep believing, keep hoping, and keep supporting. Up the Spurs.